question where do you measure your success as a parent by your relationship with your child or how successful that child is monetarily? So if your child is fucking Jeff Bezos, but he don't call, is that a success? Or he work at a fucking T-Mobile store and live in your basement, but y'all best friends, is that successful? Which one is that successful in your mind? How do you measure that?
I mean, I can't. Once again, the extreme. Like, why gotta be Jeff Bezos?
Nigga, I just told you this is what I do.
This is what he does. Okay, I'm like, wait a minute, Jeff Bezos or a manager?
I think what you have to do is when you look at success as a parent, I think first thing that everybody does when they have kids is you look at how you were parented. You take the good, you dish the bad. So if you in something or you thought that something worked for you as a kid, you take that, and if there's something else that you thought didn't work, you kick that, right? And so what you end up with is you end up with a parenting style that may or may not be receptive to who your kid is. And I think that that's kind of where the rub is that are you parenting like you want to be parented, or are you parenting your kid as they need to be parented? And that's kind of where that conundrum happens.
I think it depends on your goal as a parent. And I think the answer varies parent to parent. I mean, even married couples may not have the same parenting goals. Like for one person, their goal as a parent may be for their child to make it through high school without getting someone pregnant and without getting pregnant themselves. And if they do that, they feel like they are a success. And after high school, whatever you make of your life is what you make of your life, because now you're an adult and now it's your decision. Then you have other people who, as a parent, they may feel like my goal as a parent is to make sure that I gave you enough of a foundation to be a successful member of society, be able to own your own home, be able to take care of yourself and not depend on me. So if that is what their goal as a parent is for that child, is to raise an independent child that does not need them. Now, this is not talking about in the eyes of a pandemic and you know, stuff happens and all that. So I think it's based off of the parent's goal for that child, whether or not they are successful. And sometimes it depends.
But let me give you a gray area then. What if the person that you raised is decent? I mean, they are, but their life isn't going anywhere, or they are just stuck in the, you know how black people get stuck in the, you know, I didn't graduate high school, I work at McDonald's, that's my life, I'm gonna probably get a girl pregnant at some point in time within whatever and have a kid or whatever, I may be a dad to them, may not. Would you call that person, the parent of that person, would you call them successful or horrible?
It depends on what that parent did. If the parent was asleep on the job and that's how that child turned out, then that's a horrible parent. Because the reality is children make decisions, good, bad, or other, and there are consequences. And sometimes that has nothing to do with parenting. You have some children who have great parents who the child is so caught up in their teenage years of rebelling against something that they look for something to fight against when there's nothing to fight against. And they make poor decisions. Kids hang out in the wrong crowd all the time. That has nothing to do with parenting. Like, everybody can't afford to pack their child up and send them off to boarding school or send them off to a military camp. So I think you look at the means of that parent, you look at how much they stayed involved in that child's life. And if they did all they could and this child decided, I just want to do me, and I mean, all that's great that you offering me, but I want to turn up, or I just want to live my best life thinking that's what it is at that time. I mean, a parent can only.
I just recently met two young boys like that, where they would come to work for us, and they tell them saying, you're trying to train them up, but they got this really, out there. I hate to say it, but that thug mentality, the pants sagging, they cussing and this, that, and the other. And I'm like, damn, where's your daddy? And then you like, oh, I need a ride to the house. And then you take them to, middle America, $300,000 house, cars in the driveway, and parents are there working regular jobs.
Like, what are you doing?
Another person his dad owns his own business, and you like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You don't even have to work here.
What are you doing?
So it's like she said, it ain't the parents. Sometimes these people get out here and they decide I'm gonna be whoever it is I want to be. It ain't got nothing to do with me.
And it's totally possible that they're not that engaged. It's totally possible that you could be a good dad and not be fully engaged in your child's life.
No, I don't think you can be a good dad and be not engaged. Because like I know a bunch of people who are I would call horrible dads for the simple fact that they are just not engaged with their kid. So see something is happening with your kid and you don't react any other way until it gets to, like you said, the extreme point. For instance,
but what if they've been whole life? What if they've been studying constantly, I'm taking them out of this environment, taking them out of this environment, and they just keep going back like this. I know this personally about these people, that they just keep running towards this, even though they parents and others are trying to pull them away from it. Like I'm gonna go send you to stay with your grandma because I understand you're not gonna stop hanging around this certain crowd of kids.
But
I can't get you away from them. And I done switched your school 4 times.
But did you offer that? But did you come up with a different solution besides I'm gonna send you to your grandma?
Well, the first solution was switching your school 4 or 5 times.
Wait. But did you ever dig down to find out why that person is acting out like that? Did you really look at the person? Did you parent?
Here's the thing. Sometimes you can't figure that out. No matter how hard you try.
Yeah, you can. You
can always figure it out. You can always get it right. Is what you're saying.
Not always.
Sometimes they don't know.
Not always. But sometimes a person just wants, people do things for attention.
They do.
And sometimes if you dig out that type of response, then you could correct some of that. Am I saying that every situation can be boiled down to a 30-minute sitcom? No, I am not. But are you taking every step that's possible for you to take? Most situations, probably not. You got caught up at some point in time with, what, I'm just going they just want to do that. I'm just gonna let them be them, make their own mistakes, blah blah blah.
So we're clear. You cannot be a good dad and not be an engaged dad. They must be one and the same.
Those are one and the same. Engaged and good is one and the same.
Debatable. That's debatable because you have some couples where that dad has decided for him to be a good dad, what he needs to do is to keep a job, provide for his family, be able to protect his family, and he leaves it up to mom to know what's going on with the inner workings of the kid's mind, and that's their team. And as long as he is keeping his job, keeping the lights on, keeping the bills paid,
that's not being engaged.
But the thing is, but here's the thing, because he's not, but that don't make him a bad dad.
That's not what he's measuring himself against. He's going, if I put in the example out to my children that a man is supposed to take care, provide, and be there and stick by his mom, and if I do that, then I'm a good dad. It's individual goals. Right. If he feels like if he does that, he's a good dad and he's consistent, and he feels like it's his job to figure out what's going on with him.
No, that is not necessarily true, because if he isn't engaging with that kid and that kid is wilding out, then it doesn't matter how much you work, how much you provide, how much you do whatever. If you got this cat out here wilding out, you're not a good dad. I don't care how much you bring in.
That's your perspective, though, right? That's your perspective, though, right? So that's for you. So
I need to be engaged while we're homeless. Like I'm trying to get the medium because it's all. Hold on, because you just said it. If I'm not engaged, but you said engagement makes you a bad. Not being engaged makes you a bad dad. And what I'm saying is, if I'm working 2 jobs to make sure this house is the bills are paid. Yeah, I'm gonna step in and check on Junior or little mama, whatever, and I'm gonna stay on them. But if I'm consistently working, if I'm consistently paying bills, if I'm consistently doing things that
being a good example,
exactly, because not every dad is gonna be able to sit down and really have this engaging conversation that you're talking about. Because I see what you're saying. If you're just like, oh, well, whatever, I'm working, blah, blah, blah. But what I'm saying is, if that's not in his DNA to do, he's not a bad dad because he's doing the right thing as he sees as a father.
But
he's doing what he knows how to do.
But he can't be
doing what he knows. He's doing what he knows how to do.
Out. He can't be right if it's
so you saying automatically once a child starts to stand out of backlash, it's somehow the parents' fault.
No, I'm not saying just because somebody has a backlash, because I mean all of us rebelled as a teen. I'm not saying that one rebellion or two rebellions or one mistake or two mistakes dictates that, oh my goodness, you're horrible. But what I'm saying is that
even if it's
consistent, what I'm saying is that there is a consistent pattern of you not being engaged, right? And your kid not per se living up to par, then maybe you are a horrible father. Just say that you're not.
And no way in here could that child just be a horrible person.
Maybe you're not.
Wow, I'm not going to say somebody is a horrible person and they haven't fully developed.
To that point, Jeffrey Dahmer grew up with his parents. He grew up with two parents. They don't know what the hell happened to him. So you could just be crazy.
Okay.
On another note, again, as far as good dads, engaged dads, I feel like the whole "you a good dad, but you're not fully engaged" is really old school. Like it's more like, hey nigga, you got lights. You better get the hell out of my face.
Right.
Talking about that. I don't care about the basketball team. I'm not coming. I gotta work.
So were those bad dads?
Exactly.
Hey, we here, ain't we? All of us here. We functional adults.
Were those bad dads?
But were they engaged? They were like, hey, chill.
Wait.
Ain't got time to be coming up to school.
You can't just say I'm not saying that like just because you chose to work versus play video games with your son or daughter or whoever. I'm not saying that just automatically makes you a bad dad. But I'm saying if your child is clearly lacking something and you don't figure out a way to make it work and figure out how to give them with it, you're a horrible parent. Yes.
So if you can't fix every problem your child has, you're a horrible parent.
Did not say every problem. You said every.
But you just said engagement will fix all. You're saying
so if you can't fix it, you can't fix the one thing. If you can't fix this, if you can't stop them from constantly rebelling or doing whatever it is they want to do, you're a bad parent.
I'm not talking extremes. So
we can move past it.
We're trying to put the extremes. We're not talking about the extremes because
what do you mean by engagement?
Extremes.
What is engagement?
What quantifies engagement to you?
Giving your kid what they need. And your kid will let you know what they need.
Extremely broad.
Now, now, for instance, some kids, they are perfectly fine with spending 30 minutes with their dad and they are cool. Mm-hmm. More power to you, awesome sauce. But if you see something like, okay, for instance, your kid is missing a bunch of days in school and he lives with his baby mama or whoever, and he's just not gonna even graduate high school.
Wait, so he doesn't live with me?
I thought. I mean, I was just using the whole spectrum because
I'm just saying, like, which, like,
if he does live with you or he doesn't, it doesn't matter. Because in my opinion, if you get off your ass, you can figure it out. That's all I'm saying. And like, for you as a parent, be like, you know what? I care more about.
Let's stick with the plan that they live with you, because it's so many other complications you bring in when it's separate households.
Right.
But
because
let's
you're
just
not. You don't know what
I think even those complications can be overcome if you work at it. Now, if you're not
the thing, you're no longer dealing with a child. Now you got to deal with a grown ass person, and I can't change a grown ass person.
Okay, but how many of us have dealt with some fucked up motherfuckers at work? It seems like
that's work. I leave them at home. I don't have
it seems like at the job we can figure out how to work with all these random ass people, but
I work around them. I don't work for them or through them. Like you said, I work around them.
But you can't work around your baby mama though, right? You can't.
No, because I got to go through her. I got to go to her house. You can try.
The reality is you do need someone who will work with you, because if you to talk about what Wicked Thurman's talking about, to say that you can overcome a bad parent in the home, whether it's the mother or the father, so whether the child lives with the father and the mother is trying to do something, or the child lives with the mother and the father is trying to do something, if you're not constantly there and the other person that's in the house with that child constantly undoes what you were trying to do, you can't be successful if the other person isn't willing to work.
You just work harder. What is wrong with working harder?
What is this word? Like,
working fucking harder.
You need to teach. If you know a lesson,
work harder. Like,
whatever this is, you got.
Harder.
These kids need both. They need both sides. They need both parents.
You got to have someone work with and hope that the child will also see it.
You can work harder and overcome that stuff.
And
you
need
harder.
Those kids to be on the same. You need to be on the same page.
Work harder.
You as parents,
I can work as hard as I want to.
Yeah,
that has no bearing on another parent.
You know what?
I'm not there for.
I will say this: I've never seen a person work harder and not get to where they need to be. Never seen it happen. I've never seen somebody work harder and not get to where they need to be. Give me an example.
You the dream killer. You were the dream killer, remember?
Tell me who.
Okay, but
you're the dream killer who said if you suck at rapping,
you're talking about getting someone.
You ain't going nowhere.
No, you're talking about. You're talking about a dream.
I can work as hard as I want to.
I'm talking about I'm not talking about.
It's a dream. It's a dream for me to have this kid act right. And this lady keep crushing my goddamn dream. I show up every day on the days I ain't supposed to be there. You know, hey, I just want to talk to my son. You know what? I'm gonna call the police on you. You ain't supposed to be over here right now. Well, you know he missed 5 days of school. I'm trying to come over here and see what's going on. It ain't your day. I'm finna call the police on you. Got to get away from here. I don't care nothing about him missing no school.
Wait. But you don't think that your son would see that and would react to that?
He don't even know I'm outside.
Now, how does
I'm
he
trying to
know?
get out.
So you mean to tell me somebody show up at your house and you don't know who out there?
Bloop bloop. Them lights that came on.
I'm gonna give you an example from my personal life. My parents got divorced when I was 12. The only side of the story that I knew was my dad's because he was the only one telling me shit. So to this day, if I were to tell you what happened when my parents got divorced or whose fault it was, I would tell you it was my mother's fault because my dad was the one telling me the story. You know what I'm saying? Victory goes to the winners.
I got a question. Have you ever talked to your mom about it though? Have you ever asked your mom?
No, and I wouldn't. I mean, we get into a weird place. I didn't talk to my mom for a long time. I don't really want to start digging them graves, start digging up them, you know what I'm saying? Hey, behind this corner. What is it here?
But in my opinion, that actually may be a good thing that you need to do.
But here's the thing, though.
Have unresolved issues stemming from that you
I lived through the same situation that Mike did, but from my perspective, I got both. I ended up over time getting what happened from both, and then since I got both stories, I can kind of figure out what the fuck really happened. And I ain't gonna really dish out what happened with my mom and dad, but I mean, in the end, I really didn't see my dad because my mom told me, "You come on this porch, I'm gonna shoot you." And at first, he was like you said, "Fuck that, I'm coming to see my son." And then when that pop happened, he's like, "Hey, when you get a little older, you'll be able to just come find me."
He was supposed to take some. Wait. But at least take some shells for you, okay? He was supposed to take a couple hits.
Take 6 or 7 in the ass.
Hey,
listen, you can't do nothing you can't do nothing for me if you did.
You were supposed to visit him in the hospital, bad guy. You were supposed to visit him in the hospital, bring him some flowers.
But did you not know he was there for you though, right? I mean, was he there for you? Yes or no?
As a grown adult living in the household that I have now with me, my wife, and my son, I would have preferred if they was both there together. I would have preferred a 2-parent household as a child.
I can get behind that. I think you're better that way.
I mean, I'm not gonna argue that either way because I'm not finna offend people who grew up in single family household or who choose that. Because in my opinion, if you work at it, you can make it work.
Well,
of course, my mom did shit. I'm here. I know she.
We'll say this. It is not.
People can co-parent.
It's not. You don't have the other side does not have to be your father. It does not have to be your mother. If you just need a positive role model of the opposite sex, it does not. It could be an uncle. You know what I'm saying? It could be your stepfather. It just has to be a opposite sex positive role model, so you can have somebody who can show you what the other's perspective is like. So you don't have to say, "Hey, I don't want to defend people from a 2-parent household." It's fine. It's fine. You're doing the best that you can, and that other side can come from anywhere. It could be a family member. It could be like, "Hey, I need you to talk to my son." You know what I'm saying? And my uncle. That's it.
Let's be for real. Just because parents are together doesn't mean they should be.
No, that's true. That's true.
Some parents,
that is true.
You need the opportunity to find the love of your life, and you need the opportunity to find the love of your life because you two toxic people don't need to be together.
We got.
It's rumbling.
So you going? Don't nobody want to leave each other? No, you gonna stay?
Yeah,
y'all just
y'all just gonna be mad all the time in here?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Y'all not gonna talk. Y'all not gonna talk at all. We're just gonna sit here and eat tacos in silence.
These lights on, no.
These lights on, no. And that was the thing that I was saying was that, like, I'm not saying that, you know, oh my goodness, because you aren't spending hundreds of hours with your kid, you're a horrible parent. Not saying that. What I'm saying is that there are certain people, and we have all seen them, who you try to wonder, like, why are you? It seemed like to me you got a bunch of time to do a whole bunch of other shit, but your kid walking around here flunking out of school. They not doing this right. They not doing it right. Yeah, you every once in a while, or you happen to be in the same place as your kid at the same time, but your kid is not flourishing. So at what point you as a parent gonna make a sacrifice to make?
I think you had a better point, you know, earlier when you said it really depends on the kid, right? You do what you need to do to parent the certain type of kid that you have. When you said that, I think I agree with that, because like you said, my son's ultra laid back, right? AB student, but I don't have to be on him all the time, whereas another kid may need that constant presence in their life. So
let me tell you something. If my son is anything like I was as a student, it's gonna be a fucking problem.
You just gonna be a busy parent.
No, if you stay engaged, you will be good, but you just can't disengage.
You know what? When it comes to that, he can, because of Shantae. Shantae
somebody's got to be engaged.
Yeah, Shantae, you got this, right?
Somebody has to be.
I was a C student in school is because I needed a 2.0 to play sports. Other than that, I knew what I needed to graduate. That's the only thing I was focused on. I remember to this day, I was in class in my last year, and the teacher was like, "Hey, Mike, you gonna do any work?" I don't need this class to graduate. Wow. I don't even know why I air quoted graduate. Like, what else could it mean?
Exactly. To walk across the stage.
Get to that next point in my life.
But I need to breathe. Like, what? I think that was a real
oxygen.
Yeah. I think an engaged dad is a good thing. And I think as we looked at things, I think families have evolved where daddies weren't as involved and engaged in the children that was the mom. And I think as you grow up, like Wicked Thurman said, you take the good to take the bad. And if you grew up going, I wish my dad was more engaged, I wish we had more talks, I wish we spent more quality time, then we saw the birth of seeing more of that. But I think to say that he's a bad dad, if he has a different standard of what he feels a dad is, you're going to run into those differences. And he's not going to feel he's a bad dad if he has a different list of what he feels goes on there. I think you do get a better rounded child if you have both parents, because if mama ain't doing nothing to be engaged with the child either, you're going to have some issues in some situations.
Yeah. And another point that I like that Ryan made is like, as far as engagement, because I would say you have to know your child. Mm-hmm. And I don't mean just like when something happens, like, I know my child wouldn't be out there. Yes, they would. Yes, it would. And some stuff, even with my son, I will say, I know where you get that from. I understand. But you know, there's a pivotal point where you say, like, all right, because certain stuff I just know about my kids, like, yeah, I know they did that.
Right.
And that's how they get down. But the engagement that I feel that Ryan, you know, that I like about Ryan's point is
out there.
Come on, you know, like, I know you. I know how you get down. But I also know to make you a better version of me, I'm gonna need to angle you this way. Now, inevitably,
and to that point, he's not wrong about engagement. One of the things my dad was big on was keeping us in sports, keeping us doing stuff. He was like, "You can't be out in the streets if you busy." You know what I'm saying? What they say, out of mind is the devil's playground. So he kept us in sports. I was playing basketball, playing football, playing baseball. I was doing stuff because I couldn't get in trouble. And when we had games, we had practices, he would work 12 hours. He would still take us to practice and be sleeping in the fucking car. Mm-hmm. He'd be sleeping in the fucking car.
Well, see, that's what I'm talking about, because see, like, I know somebody who was a dad, and basically when it came time to give out whoopings and punishment, they was there. So if you do something, bam, I got you. Fix yourself. Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Right.
But this person, you turn around, and I found out that like they grandma went on more vacations with their kid than they did. Yeah. And I'm like, wait a minute, but every time I turn around, I see you on vacation. You always somewhere, but your kid is going on vacation with their grandma. How can I can't rationalize that, because in my opinion, I feel like at that point you are not engaged, except when it comes time to punish somebody.
Okay.
And who want to be there for that?
Do they think they're right or do they think they're wrong? No, and that's why I think it's so individualized. In their head,
right,
they
the individual. I'm the authority figure. You can go have fun with your grandma now, but when you know when shit get bad, daddy coming. So you need to be right unless daddy coming over here.
But you don't want to see daddy. Is that a good or bad dad?
Right.
Is that a good or bad dad though?
That's up to the individual relationship. He just may only need.
Can we all make a judgment that ain't right?
It depends on how the child turns out, right?
I don't know how the child is. Okay, so is boarding school wrong? All these people who go off and they ship their children off to boarding school where they don't see them. Essentially, your child grows up away, and you only are parenting them 2 months out of the summer because you can afford to. Are those bad parents?
Well, see, again, it goes back to what you were saying. If the results breed judgment. And what I'm saying is that, like, for instance, with that particular example, if this person was not going to graduate from the boarding school and they were going to end up getting kicked out of the boarding school, then no, that ain't good. But if that person, like y'all said, is accepting of that and flourishes in that, more power to them.
So if the child is flourishing with the daddy that only comes to give whippings, but the child is at the top of their class, is he a bad parent?
Hey, he's doing, in my opinion, he's properly engaged.
And this brings us right back to your success as a parent. What are your goals?
It depends.
If your son hates you, but he's successful, did you succeed? Are you happy with where you are?
And that brings me back to what I said, is that, like, if, in my opinion, if that person isn't successful as a parent, then can we call them horrible?
I think it's so many factors. I think it's the individual goals of you as a parent. Like, one, you need some. Two, I think it's about what do you do to your credit, Rick Thurman, when things go astray? Are you going to be an active solution to things going astray? And then the third factor is your child. All of those are the three factors in whether or not you're going to be a successful parent.
I remember.
The question is, that person is not flourishing. Are they a bad parent?
I got to know where the child is in it.
I'm talking about the child is not flourishing.
Right. What she's saying is, how much is this child fighting against what you're trying to do to make them a success? Right. That's what we get down to. But for me, success, I just want my son to live longer than I live. If you can do that, I don't want my son. I don't want my son to die before me.
Low bar.
Listen, is it really when our kids are walking out here? It's kids out here walking down the street dying, man.
You can live in the basement. You can work at the T-Mobile store. You can get a chick pregnant. Just don't die before me.
Don't. Hey, listen.
I'm about to go. Don't you dare. Don't you dare.
Don't you dare. Listen, because the thing is, I understand.
Son, wait.
The amount of time.
Is that the Rona, nigga? Is that the Rona?
You say that you can make the jokes about it, but I know the example that I'm
saying. I'm just saying.
No.
So
we are making
what I'm doing. He sees what his mom,
serious.
Right, what his mom's doing, but. So he has all the workings to be successful. I don't want that to get robbed from him before he has a chance to go out and enjoy those.
I will say this as a guy, and a bad guy, he shares this, and you too, G-Dub. As a parent of a black boy, One of my chief concerns is that it's a fucking dangerous world out here, man. It's scary out here for little black boys, and they killing little black boys, and they don't give a shit about little black boys, and they view little black boys as adults.
Big game hunting.
On a regular ass basis. And that's one of the things, going back to what we were saying earlier, we don't need to be the ones viewing our little black boys as adults because the world already does. They treat
black girls the same way. I'm gonna let you know they treat black girls the same way, and they, as a matter of fact, they treat them worse because they'll do things
about little girls. Because you're right, that a lot of that hate comes from black women, though. A lot of black women, black girls, and like. She hot in the ass. She thought that they over sexualize these little girls with like the competition, and they're not. But that was my initial point. My initial point was that
I get what you're saying.
I worry about them, and I worry about the fact that they look at them as adults when they're just kids and things that happen. I don't want him to be a Tamir Rice where he's just playing with a fucking gun and he gets shot 12 times. He doesn't even get a chance to defend to explain nothing. Like.
I get what you're saying, and I feel the same way. And that's one of the reasons why I say, to me, as a parent, engagement is so important. And that's one of my big tenets is that, like, because like I've had to get off my ass and get more engaged with my kids, because like I see that like I can get caught up in, watching fucking TV and bullshitting around or whatever, and and my kids will look at me as though like, yo, nigga, you don't know shit about me. Get the fuck out my face. They may not say that out loud, but I see it behind their eyes that that's what they're saying.
Right. What are you talking about?
And because like I had that same mentality that, I carried it over from my dad, which is that like, yo, I'm just here for the whoopings. I'm just here to whoop a nigga. You know what I'm saying? I wait, you cutting up? Let me take this belt off. Not understanding that, like, yo,
you need the other part too.
But there are other parts of this person's life, which if you work on, you won't even have to take off your belt.
It comes down to, do you want to be the parent who raises strangers? And in order to not raise strangers, you're gonna have to get to know this person. Like,
get some snaps.
You got to get to know this person.
Where's the
you just want to raise a stranger?
No. Where's my head wrap? Where's my head wrap?
because I tell people that all the time is that like one of the things that us as black people that we really need to get better on is we need to get better on expressing things that happen to us. Because a lot of us millennial and Gen X black people, we are carrying a whole bunch of baggage that our parents saddled us with because of the way they were raised, taught, brought up, and they gave that to us. And if we don't want to raise another generation that's carrying that same type of baggage, we might need to address some of this shit that happened to us when we was younger.
And this is where
fix it and get it out there.
Why people are so angry at people like Boosie, because they feel like that mentality, that idea is old guard, old ideas. That's you carrying your baggage that Boosie had, that he might have sex at 12. Now you bringing that baggage and giving that to your 12-year-old son
unnecessarily.
You know and it's not fair. It's not fair to him.
You're creating a tradition that probably shouldn't keep going. It's like you don't know how the next generation will take it, because I always use my dad's example. Like, quietest dude ever met, he was the strong, kind of like the, I'm here for the whoopings type. But as I became an adult and just started asking questions like, well, who is this? Who is this? Oh, I know you felt that way about it. It's like, oh. But once again, a lot of people don't have the ability to do that, nor the foresight to ask, well, why do we never go to this person's house? Oh, well, we fell out 15 years ago.
Or
for real, we haven't been going over there because they stole your plate back in
1988 beef. Right. You don't even know that out. You don't even know why we mad. You don't even know you were alive when they got mad.
Or better yet, I know some people who are carrying things around from like back in the 80s. And I'm like, why does this or that trigger you? And they're like, oh, well, because, and it boils down to such and such this, I felt wrong by this person. And I'm like, yo, but did you ever talk to them about it?
Yeah.
And they're like, no, I can't talk about it. I'm not going to talk about it. If you bring the situation up, I promise you I will cut you.
Yeah,
like,
sometimes okay, for our generation,
I think we on that level where we can do that.
We got to be the adult. Like, don't get me wrong. All of us sitting on here, our generations are all just lucky to be here because we all survived getting our medicine from the regular eating teaspoon and tablespoon, and we didn't get syringes, and my mama ain't measured nothing past the age of 2 probably. Well, I'm like, that's not a teaspoon, that's the tablespoon you giving me my medicine.
Oh man,
we're all lucky to just be alive.
They just hand you the testing bottle.
You have to actually bring the conversation to them. Like G-Dub is saying, like there's so many conversations that if we don't have a conversation to learn, like this is silly, like this is what you're thinking, like some of the things are so minute that have been blown out of proportion unless you have a conversation. I tell my mama on a regular basis that she's old and she needs to try and get into heaven. Like you too old to be petty, and you should be trying to get into heaven. These little girl stuff you be doing, you need to stop. You too old, and you should be trying to get into heaven. It's unfiltered. Let's rip this Band-Aid off. You better quit these little girl games like you 20, and you need to be nicer and try and get into heaven. You too
First and foremost, young lady, you about to get off this wheel. Exactly. See this ring? See this ring? It's going in your sister's name.
Hey, you will.
What y'all are talking about is something that I recently just had to acknowledge that people, are carrying around. Because I don't, me personally, and I know y'all gonna probably get mad, but I don't understand the idea of carrying old baggage. I'm so, 5 minutes ago for me. Yeah, whatever. I'm on to the next. But I understand that some people do, think about things and process it years and years later. Even though I don't understand it, I understand now that I have to be open that does happen.
Yeah, because the problem is that, like, for you, it may not have. There's stuff that happened to me when I was younger. I don't give two shakes about. But then I understand that there are other people who are connected to me who the same stuff or were around during that same situation, but affected them a whole lot worse. And you're and you're trying to figure out, like, well, I was at the point in time of the situation, I joke about it. That's a funny situation that happened to me. And this other person will shut down and will be in a funk for the next 3 days, won't talk to person X or Y for the next 3 weeks. And everybody is trying to figure out what happened. And they were just like, well, Ryan just told a funny story about the time that we got blah, 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 blah. Right. And that person is still carrying around that baggage, but they won't address it. And that is the real problem is that they won't address it. And so every time
addressing it, and they're definitely not comfortable addressing it to that party. Like,
so how do we teach people how to just let shit go without addressing it?
I feel like this is an opportunity to advocate for therapy. Like, hey, if you feel like you need therapy, you got baggage, or you have things that unresolved issues that you need to get out, you probably should be going to talk to someone about it. It doesn't have to be us.
But it's going to ultimately come down to at least you trying to have that conversation with that other person. And in therapy, that is what they're going to try to pigeonhole you to do, is to have that conversation with that person. And the bad guy brought up a good point, which is that, like, how do you get over it if that person never wants to address it with you? And in that situation, if you have came to them and you have tried to address it with them and they don't want to have no parts of that conversation, because, like, I've had many a conversation with many of people in my family and they have not wanted to address these issues or have tried to move past it without truly addressing it with me.
Have they though? Have they tried to move past it? Because I feel like you have a certain set of people who hold on to baggage so it can be the excuse for their behavior. And I think you have people who don't want to move past it. They want to keep every single time something happens, they want whole pertinent issue. Like, what they got to do with the day? Like, but that's the thing they hold on to because they don't want to move past it. I mean, Erica Badu gave us a cautionary song called "Bag Lady." I mean, what
is that what that was about?
Yeah, put them problems down. You don't carry the problems to your next relationship, and then they gonna leave over some old shit.
She put it to a beat. What more do we need? She done gave us the whole.
Well, see, I think the problem is that a lot of times, because like I've tried to address issues with people in my family, and when I tried to address the issue with them, they took offense to it. And
I'm not coming from a skeptical place, but when you say you tried to address it, did you address it in a Ryan way? Because you know you got a way. You got a way.
There's a Wicked Thurman way.
No,
let me explain to you what Dr. Thurman is saying, because I hear what you're saying, but let me tell you what you're really saying.
No, again, it starts like every conversation with me starts out with is a question, right? So everything with me starts out with a question. So I ask you a question, I give you a chance to answer it, and then I delve deep.
You tell them how they fucked that answer up. Listen, this ain't what you're really saying. Let me explain to you from a logical perspective on how you really feel.
That usually comes after I didn't talk to you for about 20 minutes about something.
I'm mad.
Still don't get it.
I done tried to tell you how to figure this shit out.
I didn't ask you several times, why the fuck did you steal my Jell-O cup back in 3rd grade, and you still ain't told me why, and now I gotta hit you with some good shit.
So what it is, you really are a petty criminal, is what I'm telling you about this.
And look, I have tried to tell people stuff and try to do the nice way of telling them, and they will be like, "Yo, man, you using too many big words. I can't understand that because you using too many big words."
It's certainly a Ryan way.
But I'm like, the whole reason why I'm using the big words is so that I don't tell you fucked up. And then when I tell you fucked up, now all of a sudden you mad. We can't have no conversation no more.
Just start off with the effed up. Start off with that. Because you know how some people like, what you trying to say? And you're like, I've been trying to say it for the last hour, but let me go hit you with it. It's like, oh man.
One of the things that helped me, and I just say that I'm in any way a functional individual. One of the things that helped me is that I needed to have some self-awareness in my role in this shit. You know what I'm saying? So we have these problems, and I'm like, nigga, like in my mind, and I'm like the bad guy a lot of times. I hold grudges, but I don't hold grudges. So like when that dude said I like Sebastian from The Little Mermaid, I'm still mad about that shit. I'm still fucking mad about that shit.
He did that in elementary school, didn't it?
Oh, it was in middle school, and I still remember that dude. Y'all remember I told you that story? But later on, he got beat up by a deaf dude. He tried to fight him. He tried to fight the deaf dude, but didn't realize that dude was in boxing lessons and got beat up by a dude who was like,
he heard the blow.
I tell you, that was the funniest shit I seen. My school is him getting beat up because he thought it was gonna be an easy win. Dude had that. Back in the day, they had those big ass, big ass hearing aids. So he thought it was gonna be an easy win because this dude had 2 of them. Didn't know nothing about them boxing lessons. He learned today. He learns today. Anyway.
Definitely not ready.
Definitely not.
Captain Hayes. I still remember that dude, Bernard. If you out there, if I see you, smoke, straight smoke.
I got these jokes. I'm grown now. My jokes are strong.
All of these jokes.
You gotta learn how to let some stuff go. Like I didn't see you. He done got beat up by the deaf boy taking boxing lessons.
Like, yo, let that go.
Not for you. The universe switched it.
You won.
So
in front of a crowd.
So I hold these grudges, but I also am one of those people now. I've gotten to a place where I can, hey, I ain't mad about that shit. Like we argued, I'm putting that shit, I filed it away. I want to move. I want to be able to move on. And I feel like, and what changed my thinking is that if I'm not mad, nigga, you shouldn't be mad either. It took me to the other extreme. Like, okay, so if I'm over it, you should be over it. And this is one of the things that I bring that I probably should have fixed in my relationship. Because I'm like this even with Shantae, where I be like, hey, I ain't mad no more. Why you mad? why should you still be mad if I ain't mad? You need to get over it together. We need to get over it as a team. You know,
exactly as a unit.
How did that work out for you?
It did not.
Not at all.
Exactly. You like that book? I'm buying that book. You write that one.
Like, hey, you. Oh, here you go. You still mad?
What? About what?
Hey, listen, it's even wrong when they still mad and you don't even ask the question, but you over there having a good ass time by yourself. You like, you smile and laugh and kick in. Then you walk around the corner and you like, oh goddamn, you still mad.
Get married is you cannot have a good time without your wife. If you are having a good time without your wife, you cannot allow it. No. Just look at your phone. Look at your phone and smile.
You can have a good time. You can have a good time, but there will be consequences.
Them adult, see, it was an adult decision before you went out there to go have that good ass time, and you knew there was gonna be some goddamn consequences when you got back.
And you better have a good time because there will be consequences for the good time.
Consequences.
Then the quiet rise home. You be like,
That's why I had to learn, like, at a certain point in time, you got to leave the party, bro. You smoking, you drinking, you having a good time, but at about 11, 12 o'clock, you might want to check in.
I am an in for a penny, in for a pound type of nigga. Like, all my life. Like, if I'm in trouble, I'm not gonna get all the way. I'm gonna all the way fuck up. Like, when I was a kid, my dad would be like, yo, you do that, you're gonna get a whooping. Like, hey, if you eat this or do this, you will get a whooping. If I'm going to get a whooping, I might as well go the whole way. Don't eat one little Debbie cake, eat all 12 of them motherfuckers. You're already in trouble.
And I'm sure your brothers was like, we stealing on this cat. He done ate all the little Debbie, so that means we get no more.
So not only is you getting one ass whooping, you getting two, because now you're
probably gonna he probably got all of my ass whooping because daddy gonna swear him down. He couldn't eat all them little Debbies by himself. He done got everybody ass whooping.
This is my thing though. This thinking, all of this shit, I'm like, I have a son. My dad was like, one day, your kid just like you were. I'm like, yeah, whatever, nigga, whatever. And now he's here, and I'm like,
50-50. 50-50, country boy. 50-50. I'm not like either one of my parents in that arena. I have asked my parents for my adoption papers on multiple occasions because my apple is not only from their tree, it's in a whole nother neighborhood.
Wait, but do you got brothers and sisters?
Okay, they got it with the sister, but I'm my mother's only child. My mother did not get what she was supposed to get. My mother wound a comb up in her grandmother's hair, called her a black bee, and ran out the house. I was supposed to be a horrible child for this woman.
Wait, but is your sister horrible though?
But that's only my daddy. He earned it. But my mother didn't get that. My mother, listen, I'm like, where are my papers? Because I was listening. My parents told me stories, and I'm like, how am I your child? Like, I do what I'm supposed to do. Why? Because you told me. It just seemed like an easy, logical thing to do.
I need for him to be like Shantae. I need him to be like Shantae. If he anything like me,
you're gonna run into some boy issues though that have nothing to do with you and have everything to do with you. So 50-50 on that.
Yeah, there's gonna be some boy issues. Some of that I didn't, because I mean, one of the big things that I had as a kid, and I don't want to make this about me and Bray, but one of the issues I had as a kid, I would do shit with like I didn't care about the consequences. I would just do it. You know what I'm saying? I would ride my bike as fast as I can, straight through the intersection. If I get hit, I get hit. I don't give a fuck. I'm trying to see how fast this car can go. I mean, my bike can go. I like fire. I'm gonna set the lawn on fire. I like fire. I don't know that I'm gonna set the whole lawn on fire, the house on fire. I don't care. I just want to see the fire.
You know what? It hit me the one time, or it's been happened several times now, where my daughter has said something to me that I said to my dad. And it's so funny because this one sticks out in my mind because I remember one time I told my dad, me and him, he had did something to me that looking back, I don't even remember what happened. I just remember I was like on a 10 anger level for probably nothing, right? And I told that cat, I was like, man, shut up talking to me. You ain't got no friends. Where your friends at, nigga? And, I just said that to him. thinking back now, Dad, if you're listening, I apologize because that was wrong.
My bad.
But a couple years ago, me and my daughter, we was going back and forth, and she told me, "Nigga, where your friends at?"
Oh.
And it hit me, and it just brought that memory back to me, and I was like, "Oh."
Touche.
And the whole argument just stopped because I had to tell her, you know what? I said that to my dad. I said the same thing to my dad at about the same age that you are. That is hilarious. And I started laughing, and I think that made her even madder because now I was comparing her to me and laugh off the whole issue.
The response she wanted.
Drop the whole thing, and now she red hot now because I'm not mad about it. I'm laughing, and I'm about to sit down on the couch.
That was she was dropping the mic on you, and you done laughed at her. Oh,
I didn't laughed. I didn't moved on. I'm like, thank you. That is hilarious. Oh my goodness. I see how dumb I was at your age. I'm gonna go sit down because ain't nothing else for me to say. It's like, just move on.
Anyway, I guess it's a good place as any to go ahead and wrap this up. We actually stayed on topic this time. I mean, it kind of at the end. I mean, I was okay with that because the whole idea of this was hey, we would talk about our main topics, and at the end, if it go off in left field, that's fucking fine for it to go off in left field at the end because it's the end. If you still
full circle, it was full circle.
It was full circle. We still talk about being parents or having parents or whatever. If you are still watching this, please share this video so other people can watch it and enjoy it, and I can get a bit more following on Facebook because Facebook is hard.
Them algorithm is deep.
Them algorithm is a bitch, boy. They're killing me. Like I got 1,800 followers on IG. I got about 1,300. Well, I almost got 2,000 on IG. I got about 1,300 on Twitter, and I got 220 on Facebook because Facebook is hard as hell. Okay, so if you're still watching, please share this video. We need your help. We're trying to grow, keep this thing popping. I also did another podcast this past weekend with Moms and Martinis with Kiera. We also talked about parenting on there, and because her son is going to go live with her baby father, her ex-husband. We talked about my divorce and living with my dad and stuff like that. So it's more introspective. If you want to listen to it, it's not out yet, but when it comes out, I'm gonna post it. You can not listen to it, not listen to it. I don't really give a shit. Do what you do.
Yeah. DP, maybe we'll do
your divorce.
My parents divorced. My parents got divorced.
I was like, whoa. So real quick segue.
Yeah.
I like how you threw that out there.
No. Did you not just see my wife right there? She was like right there.
Right there.
That's what I was checking. Like, okay, this is a different thing now. Like, well,
maybe we'll do it. Maybe we'll get together and you put out a post where we inviting people to come in and we just really about answering questions and stuff for DP.
A Q&A. Another Q&A where we just answer.
You got to throw out the topics early though, and keep posting and come with your questions.
One of the things that I had
strictly go through the audience
to learn was I need to get these posts out. The rest of y'all.
Yeah. I'm on there. I'll be posting.
I'm halfway on social media. I'm still trying to figure that thing out.
You suck. Are any of you guys on Twitter?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter.
I was on Twitter.
I need to log back in.
Oh, yeah, wow. I was like,
see the people that I roll with.
Yo, no, here goes the thing. Every time I ask you, hey, bro, what I need to do? You say,
get on Twitter and get on Instagram.
Bro, I'm old, man. I need some like actual instructions. You got to tell me exactly what to do. I'm old. It's like,
send your name, address, and social security number to my address, and I'll say
$500, and I'm gonna unlock this 1 million, and I'm gonna send half of it.
Look, my kids be talking about
Nigerian prince. He will make you a millionaire.
All right, we got
TikTok.
More often.
I'd be like, TikTok is the stupidest thing I've ever seen.
I still don't get TikTok. I'm old.
It's stupid. I don't understand it.
Okay, why do y'all get me started? TikTok is racist as fuck. TikTok is racist as fuck. TikTok is old. It's old.
I see they won't be sponsoring.
No, they won't. Fuck them. That's how I feel about it. Fuck them. TikTok is ran by a Chinese company. Not to say anything, but as far as like race relations between white people and black people, they don't give a shit. They don't care. Yeah. So racist videos perpetrated by young white people, you can try to get it taken down, and they'll be like, if you don't like it, you can just not watch it. Hold on. This dude just tried to talk about lynching and talk about how black people get shot, and that's not okay. That's against your terms, your toss, right? No, they don't care. And what I'm not going to do is even. I'm not going to use that platform if that's what you feel about us. That's not going to happen. Not for me. I don't feel comfortable doing that. You know what I'm saying? So if I got to tell you fucking racist and then you're not going to sponsor me, so be it. I ain't got no goddamn masters. If I got to keep paying server bills just to tell you to kiss my ass, I'm okay with that. I'm completely okay with that.
Yeah, TikTok is. My kids showed me a video of TikTok, and it was just a person's head, and they had an article behind them. And I was like,
I'm lost.
I don't understand. What does it mean? I see a person making facial expressions and I see an article behind them. And they was like, oh, you didn't get it. You were supposed to have read what the headline was and then went out there and searched for the information.
Headline. Aha. Headline. I'm with you. Like, what was
so,
that?
No, we've been stupid. I've been stupid.
So the person face on the don't mean nothing. I'm supposed to well, hell, I might as well just go to Google News and get that shit.
TikTok is Vine. It's basically Vine. It's basically Vine, like 2.0. It's the same thing. One of the good things when I was on there for like 2 seconds, because I was trying to promote the podcast through it to push people towards our page, is that you can't filter content. You just get what you get. So like the next video just play. So you watch a video and then the next video just like, hey, this is it.
This is what it is.
You can't say I want to watch this. Yeah, you won't see my shit. So you will get a lot of views because people were forced to watch your shit.
But they can not give two fucks about it.
They can not give two fucks about it because they didn't ask to be here.
The clan video plays right after yours. Like, yeah, right. Don't you hate these guys? You didn't. I guess
these goddamn niggers. Right after a minute.
Why does it come on after mine?
Exactly. What kind of algorithm?
Like, why does the algorithm work to where I'm gonna be like, yeah, I really want to support my people. Next video, these damn niggers.
Goddamn niggas. Let me tell you about these niggas.
Hey, no, that's not the video I want to do or see.
So Anyway, at that point, please share our videos. Oh yeah, since OTR is here, big shout out to OTR. Shout out to Raw and Uncut. Shout out to my man Baylor the Great. All these dudes, man, because they're my people. They're my Twitter people, my Twitter fam. Not Perfect, Just Broke, VV, all those people, man, I love them. They're awesome. So shout out to them. We all in the same struggle out here. Little independent podcast trying to make it.
Yeah.
This independent.
That's how you get that good wholesome white money.
Yeah. Money. Yeah, it says so they can try to turn us into something else. Turn us into something that they
guys. Wait a minute. I tried this ice cream recipe yesterday. Phenomenal. Right. I'm gonna pull it up right now. Like, wait a minute. What are we doing now? I
made a TikTok video yesterday. You gotta try it. Go check our official channel.
Supreme. The most utmost wholesome video you would. Every one of you guys, I need you to go in, click the bottom of the screen, and support my channel.
So Baylor the Great was like, he was talking about off the record. He was like, see them proper talking niggas. He called it. I was like, you didn't call us proper talk. I could properly talk.
The things that we do
exactly
to enhance your video viewing experience.
We can effectively persuade you to adjust yourself and grasp the complexity.
We are also middle class Negroes. All right. He was like, we the balance. I was like, we're not even a balance in our own group.
Exactly. Like,
if you watch the video, watch the thing. He's like, I feel like the cut will be the balance here. And I'm like, nigga, I can't even stop Willie Thurman for being himself. How can I
start flipping tables over immediately?
Exactly.
Balance.
Like, we are not balanced. We are broken. This is a thinly held together.
Look, I was like, we'll be good at like dividing. So like, yes, you will probably find there are like 5 different spots in the house, and all of us have occupied that spot with our crew. And when it comes time to
this is what would happen. We would get in that house, we would click up, and they would be even more divided than when they went in. We wouldn't be balanced. We would be them niggas who'd be like, hey, cuz, we on this side, cuz, we the PlayStation crew, cuz. What y'all doing? Get off the TV, cuz. We about to play 2K. You know
look, we be like, no, we the Netflix crew, bro. We watching Netflix. Get off the TV.
Wi-Fi?
Watching Netflix.
Exactly. What's the Wi-Fi, nigga?
What's the Wi-Fi?
I tell you what, though, when he put us together in those houses, I was like, yo, let me look at these other cats and see what they look like. Some of them niggas is big. Like, hey.
Like before we use first language. See them in these internet streets, like what?
Hey.
Like back all the way up to see dude, like
I'm about to do some push-ups before I go meet them in person. Let me do some push-ups.
I am 200 pounds. I'm 5'8", 200 pounds. Hey, I'm not gonna fight you. Let me
do some push-ups.
Exactly. Shoot you in the calf muscle.
The bad guy has no problem with murder, so we know who to get on. Like,
so y'all talking crazy? I'll be right back.
Exactly.
Hey, look.
Hey, I'm gonna go get my gun and I'm gonna kill everybody.
Everybody.
Hey, if you want to meet a person who is 100% shoot you in the calf muscle, fucking tussle, the bad guy. That's
hey,
look, they all see
10 years ago we could do all that wrestling and fighting and shit. I stab you. I'm gonna stab you in the leg. Nah, I ain't got time for it.
Look, they all see him go to the car. All 4 of us, we done ran and hid and stuff. They're like, why are these motherfuckers hiding? Why are they hiding?
This nigga finna kill everybody.
So
I just went out the window.
If you guys are not aware, I'm sorry, we kind of inside joking right now, but Baylor the Great put together a podcast recently, a special episode where he divided a bunch of black podcasts into houses. And our podcast was in house 2. And the way he framed it is that we would be the balance of the group. And we were like, nah, nigga, that's not us.
All right.
All right. We about to shut it down. Fucking shit down.
Look, after one of our sessions, we might have everybody ready to burn this motherfucking house down. Like, yo, get the matches, get the lighter fluid.
You burning this whole shit down.
And the bad guy didn't fucking pour gas everywhere. We like, man, what the fuck are you doing?
Exactly.
Hey, they say we couldn't get out. I guarantee we can get out this motherfucker today.
One way or another, we getting out of here. We headed to the upper room.
Is somebody smell gas? Who done brought this nigga with them?
Who is something on fire? Is somebody smoking?
Anyway, I'm so sorry, y'all. This went straight left.
Yeah.
This went straight left. Anyway,
we got more time.
So, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Facebook. Please share this post. We need to follow us. We're struggling. We're actually doing great. We're actually doing great as far as listeners. Better than we ever done. Most of the out there doing, I'm trying to promote. So, if you guys need a guest who is going to come on and fuck some shit up, I got Wicked Thurman over here and the bad guy and G-Dub. If you need somebody who will come in and be the other side, Wicked Thurman.
We got you. The hitter.
Let me know.
I got you.
I got niggas on loan who gonna come in and be that other side. Be crazy. Anyway, thank y'all for listening. This has been awesome. It's been a good time. I need to check on Baby Boy. I think Shantae is in the corner being my producer, waving me to shut the fuck up. And please share this, enjoy this. We love y'all. We're gonna keep bringing y'all dope ass content. Listen to our new episode. It's out. What the hell is a butt naked? It's dope. And peace.
Now we got to fight the gangsters and shit. He's throwing up gang time.
And they Cali niggas. Exactly. They Cali niggas. They different. We from the South.
This is a hand. I'm just gonna wait. Unless that's something.
Hey, I don't know nobody's gang signs. You get both hands.